I'm Rob from Barefoot Gaming, and I know what you're thinking. Why haven't you guys done any racing games? Well, we don't have a racing setup. Haha! Except today we do. We actually put one together, and I brought my buddy Brian over here, and we are going to give you our impressions on some of the hardware used. This is Barefoot Gaming. So Brian has a VR set as well. He does not have a racing wheel, so this was something totally different. The first thing we had to do is we needed a
racing setup.
You have to have a chassis, right? You have to have something that you're attaching everything to. Now, I was looking this up online, and my first thought was we're gonna go with like PVC or ABS or something like that. There are some builds, like you get how you'd build like a tubular frame, right?
Yep.
But it's actually pretty expensive to do that. So I looked on Kijiji, which is the Canadian version of Craigslist. And after doing so, I found such a cheap frame that I couldn't justify doing the PVC. Now, Brian, what's your first impression of the setup?
Setup, comfort, everything's there. I work on cars for a living. It feels like you're in a car. The seat works, steering wheel's where it should be, pedals move. That's what you need.
The very first thing you kind of have to think about is you need a wheel, right? I mean, you've played racing games with like a gamepad. You have a console, you've played with a gamepad, but the wheel changes everything. And we tried two different wheels. Now, there was the Logitech G27 that we gave a shot, and it was the Thrustmaster T150. So how would you compare the two?
The Logitech wheel had pedals felt better.
Way better.
3-pedal setup, metal, nice setup. Wheel, you feel it was gear driven. There's play in it. It's not the same feel. Whereas the other one, Thrustmaster, belt driven, nicer feel. Feels like you're in a car. That's the way you want to feel.
And honestly, the Logitech feels better made across the board. So initially I was thinking I was gonna run the Logitech because, I mean, it's got a clutch, it's got, you know, it's got your, and the clutch feels different than the brake.
The pedals feel all different.
Everything feels better about it, except the stupid wheel. I don't like the wheel. I don't like the fact that I can feel the gears and it's loud. Now, when you're in VR, you're not really gonna notice it. But if you're outside of VR, it's quite loud.
You're gonna annoy everyone in your room.
Everybody in the room. Now the Thrustmaster it still makes some noise, but it's smoother.
Yeah.
Everything like the force feedback is insanely smoother, and it's cheaper.
Yeah.
So I think the Thrustmaster goes for like around $200 US, and the Logitech is closer to like $280. They can both be on sale depending. Right, but so in the end, we went with the Thrustmaster for this build. Okay, so now we need something that's gonna kick us in the butt, right? Because we've got the force feedback on the wheel, but we want something that's gonna butt kick, and we went to Buttkicker. Surprise! Yeah. So Buttkicker sells them direct, as do other places. Brian, how much do these things go for?
It was $220 US on Amazon.
Now, what do you all get with the Buttkicker?
It's the amp, speaker, hookups. So basically, you set it up into your seat, and you'll feel it.
Yeah, so if you mount it to the frame, it shakes whenever it gets a low frequency, right?
It's hooked up to your sub on your setup, and replaces your sub.
So that's great, except racing games really, it's not just the sub that you'd want it to respond to. So I'm like, now there's companies out there that make software that'll work with the Buttkicker, so it'll run properly in the game, which means you need different profiles. So I went to SimRacingStudio, and SimRacingStudio has this amazeballs software that actually works independent to different games. Now, you go to the website and it'll tell you what you have to do to set up each profile. The SimRacingStudio software has to run prior to you launching your VR games, and they sell their version of like a Buttkicker as well, or a haptic device. Buttkicker is copyright. And the neat thing is, they have fans. And that's bizarre. So I was joking actually with Louis about this. I'm like, how could we make this feel like we have wind coming at us? And it's like, well, you turn on a fan, right? Well, yeah, but that's not variable, right? If you're driving faster, your fan speed's always going to be the same. Well, SimRacingStudio guys, they actually have variable speed fans. Brian, tell me about the fans.
Using these fans on the racetrack, I use these fans to judge my speed. It's 100% better than any other, even looking at the Speedo in the car. You sit there, you accelerate, you feel how fast you're accelerating. If you're going too fast, you feel the wind in your face, slow down a bit before you hit the wall.
And it's crazy. They've actually got it set up so that when you're cornering, one fan will slow down and the other will stay high, so you can feel the wind hitting different sides of your face. Honestly, I'm such a nerd. This stuff I get a kick out of it. I can't help it. So we got the fans, we've got the Buttkicker, we have a chair basically with a frame wrapped around it. And let's talk about the experience itself. Now, it makes a mess. There's a mess of cables, and I'm still figuring out how I'm going to clean this all up. And it takes up a large footprint in your room. So make sure you have room for something like this. But it's cool.
Yes, it is.
Honestly, Brian, your first time trying it, what were you thinking?
It's unlike any other race experience you're going to try. You're going to be sitting there in the car, you're going to hit the wall, and you're going to be, oh my god, I just whacked the car.
You hit gravel. You hit gravel underneath, and your bum shakes.
You be driving, you accelerate too fast, and you feel the back of the car start to swerve, and you're like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
Yeah,
and then you're on.
It's neat, and I'm not a sim racing guy. I'm not. I like arcade racing, really, and there is almost no arcade racing in VR at this time. Like you've got. What we use Project Cars 2. There are a couple of different racing games, but none of them are arcade-ish. Dirt Rally 2, I guess, is maybe a little more, but not piles. The price of all the different pieces and stuff gets expensive, but it's neat, and I just wanted to know whether it was doable and how cool it would be. Honestly, you would not have caught me in racing games prior. Brian, you would have. Brian enjoys automotive stuff more than I do. It's what he does for a living, right? But aside from that, I get a kick out. I smile when I'm racing. Even when I'm losing. It's just so much fun. I feel the wind on my face and I'm laughing. I can't help it. And do you have anything else to say? I'm out of words.
All the racing games I've ever played, it's the most immersive. You're going to feel like you're driving this car. You're going to hit something. You're going to be sitting there thinking, did I do that? Or is it just thinking I did it? It was that immersive.
And honestly, one of the things that people complain about in VR, especially with racing, is motion sickness. And fans are supposed to help for that, right? For people that struggle with that.
I said.
Now, some people are going to get motion sick in racing games in general anyway, but it can help. And you've got wind, it's just neat. That is our impression of this racing setup. That's our impression. These companies, honestly, super cool stuff. SimRacingStudio has... I'm only touching the tip of the iceberg with what it can all do. How you can set up different subs in different ends of the vehicle. You can have it fully surrounded. The only thing we didn't do is make the whole thing shake, right? Like it didn't lean to the left or to the right. Louis sprayed me with water when we were in rain at one point, but aside from that, that was about as real as I needed to get. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Brian, for helping me on this review. And we will talk to you again real soon. See ya.